Hello.
This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, good evening to everybody, those who are on the call. This is Ravi Shankar. I hope everybody has joined today's session for the second day of uh, Azure. As you know that in the last session, we had basically an introductory session of what Azure is all about. Today, we are going to take this discussion a little further, and I request all of you to put yourselves on mute until of course you have any requirement to ask a question or something like that. Then of course you are most welcome to uh, put the question forward. So without any much further delay, let's begin with today's session, which will be on a variety of topics I would like to discuss today, as a for especially for those on the call who are very beginners to Azure cloud platform. And as I said, this entire curriculum is focused on the Azure cloud administration. So when I say Azure cloud administration, it includes a very comprehensive set of activities that you perform as an administrator from an organizational perspective. Okay, these are very comprehensive responsibilities, and slowly we will unravel these
Ravi,
responsibilities. And
Ravi, hello, Ravi.
yes,
Sorry for the interrupt you. Right now, I am going to meeting, unplanned meeting. Okay. I left the today.
no, I could not catch the question. What is that, Maulali?
Right now, I am in meeting. I will be joining later after 15 minutes or no.
No,
Hello.
I'm not able to catch the question, Maulali. Could you repeat it? Okay, I think somebody has dropped off. Okay, so let's continue with this part. Now, hope I'm audible to the rest of the people.
Yes, it's audible.
Okay then. So let's get going now. Whenever we are talking about initially regarding Azure cloud platform, the one thing we need to understand is that we need to talk something about the subscriptions and how these subscriptions are actually related with your accounts, and how it is possible for you to have multiple subscriptions with a single account. So what I mean to say is, all of you have already come to know that a subscription is basically a mechanism that you can see what I have got over here, and this is a subscription that I'm currently using, that is demo pay as you go. This is the name of the subscription. Okay. Similarly, from an organizational perspective, if you look, a single organization may have multiple subscriptions provided for it. This is required because an organization may have multiple divisions within it. Say, for example, one division may be a testing division, the other may be an IT division, the other may be finance division, and so on. Now, if you look at from this perspective, each of these divisions may have different resource requirements. For instance, the IT requirement of resources may be very, very comprehensive, and they may be using very heavy usage of cloud resources. Whereas if you look at another division, like say, for example, HR, the resource usage of cloud resources particularly may not be that much. So it is suggested, it is a better way that if you can have multiple subscriptions in this case pertaining to each of your organizational divisions, then the management and the billing will be can be done in a very, very segregated, in a very, very efficient way. So in short, what I would like to point out is, there is a possibility that a single organization can go for, or a single account, if I may say so, much better word would be the account, a single account can have multiple subscriptions. I hope this part is very clear to all the participants who are on call today. Okay.
Yeah, Ravi, are you sharing anything, Ravi, like a screen or
Right
something?
now, I'm not sharing anything. Just 1 second.
Oh,
I will, in case, yeah, that's a good point. Let me also share my screen so that,
okay. Thank you.
are you able to see my screen here?
No, not yet.
Okay. 1 second. 1 second. Be on, just hold on for some time. What about now?
Okay. Yes, I can share now.
Yeah. Now you will be able, you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, yes, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So Viveka, are you on also call? Oh, okay. I just wanted a confirmation from Vivek also that she can see the screen. Okay.
Okay.
So hopefully you all can. So that's what I was pointing out. See, I was showing you this particular subscription, my own subscription, demo pay as you go. And this is basically the portal login which I have done. And if you see at the top right corner where my mouse is hovering, this is the account, the tenants, what we call it as a tenant. So a single tenant can have multiple subscriptions, and each of these subscriptions can then have multiple resources associated with it. So this can be one of the models that you can adopt. Now, as a cloud administrator, one of your responsibilities would be to manage these subscriptions in a very efficient way. So as I pointed out, the moment you click on any subscription that you have, as I'm going to do that right now. So if you see here, my demo as a subscription screen is going to open up. And under this, you will be able to see a variety of options available to you. They are going to populate on your screen any moment right now. Okay. And you can see that Azure is trying to populate whatever the cost that I have that has been incurred so far. And this cost is basically being shown in the form of a donut chart. Can you see the donut chart, sirs? Right? So from an organizational perspective, if you look at it, how your own usage of resources has incurred what type of cost, and what is the overall percentage contribution of each of these resource consumption has taken place. Everything can be viewed in the form of a cost analysis the moment you open a subscription. For example, if you see, there has been a VM creation, a virtual machine creation here with the name my VM, and this has incurred a cost of nearly 7 rupees. Whereas another virtual machine which has been created for the purpose of monitoring has incurred a cost of 3.47 rupees like this. So in all, overall, you can see how your subscription cost analysis can be done very effectively. And this is one of your, as a cloud administrator, you should be well aware of what is these figures and what are these charts that are being displayed here. Not only that, if you see the area chart at the bottom of your screen, you will be able to see that the overall cost that has been incurred is being shown on a time scale. Okay, so you can see that starting from August, somewhere in the 9th, and up to 9th of September, and again you starting from October up to roughly up to 9th September. If you see, this entire area chart shows how this cost has been increasingly adopted by your individual resource creations, and how this cost is being projected on a scale of along the time scale. So if you see, this dark green line indicates the actual cost that has been incurred so far, and if you see, there is another line. This is the shaded area. If you see with a bar like this is basically a forecast. So this forecast indicates that in the next future part, maybe up to 10th of, up to 9th of October, for example, how much cost would be incurred actually. This is a forecast. So based on the past usage, Azure is able to project a future cost also for you. Hope this is being understood. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
what kind of an advantage this would give to you? Because as an administrator, one of your prime duties is to keep a track of the cost that is being incurred for the resource usage of your organization. And accordingly, the budget will be allocated to you. You can see that under your subscription, under the cost management, where my mouse is currently there, you will be able to see a cost analysis, budgets, and there is also something which is called as advisor recommendations. Cost analysis is quite straightforward. This, when you click on this one, you will be able to see the various ways in which the spending has been done so far, as far as the resource utilization is concerned. You will be able to see a complete picture of how the cost is being spent, spend analysis as we call it. Currently that is getting populated. And while this is happening, let me also tell you something about the budgets and advisor recommendations. Budgets is basically a methodology wherein there you can see. So you can see an overall actual cost in INR, right? Again, this is an area chart, if you can see. And there is also a forecast which is happening. That's the same picture what we have seen previously. But here, as an administrator, you should also have a fair idea how to interpret these charts. Okay. If you see where my mouse is currently there is something which is called as an area. If you click down, the same chart can be seen in a different formats also. For example, you may want to see it as a line chart. So you can see the chart automatically turns into a line chart if that is your preference of looking at the chart. You can also make it as a column stacked chart. Now you can see that the lines are now transformed into bars, if you can see, where your actual cost versus the forecast is also available. Same thing, but in the form of bar charts actually. And if you also go down, you will be able to see column grouped. Currently, this view does not permit column grouped kind of a view. And finally, you can also switch to a table view. So now you must be asking yourself question, what is the importance of all these things in an administrative perspective? The answer is very simple. Subscription management is one of your core responsibilities. And even in Azure examinations also, you will be tested in this area where the cost analysis and the budgets, if you can see, when I click on the budgets, currently there are no budgets that has been set for me. But if an organization perspective, if you look at it, definitely every department will be given some budget for a particular subscription. And all the spending has to be done preferably within that budget range. And this is also done in such an efficient way that in case if the actual cost that is being incurred is going to go above the budgeted format, then you can also set alerts stating that currently this is your budget and it is likely that your actual cost may go above the budgeted part of it. Okay. Similarly, Microsoft Azure also gives you a mechanism where it can give you advisor recommendations. Advisor recommendations in the sense, Microsoft can make a recommendation for you as to which resources are currently being underutilized, how you can save cost by making proper utilization of these resources, where the spending can be reduced. All these kind of suggestions can be given to you by Microsoft if you really go into this advisor recommendations. Okay, so now by now you would have got a fair idea that whenever you're talking about a subscription, you can get into the subscription through a portal and see the various kind of metrics associated with it and get a proper understanding of how your cost is actually being incurred under that particular subscription. Okay, good. So if this part is very clear, I'm just closing this particular screen, and to give a gentle reminder, we are currently under the portal environment. And in my last session, I said there are a variety of ways in which as an administrator, you can deploy, control, manage various cloud resources. One of the ways in which you can do is, I'm opening a notepad. One of the ways in which you can do is through a portal. And the other way you can do is through a PowerShell commands, as well as by using a command line interface. While the portal, as you can see here, is straightforward graphical user interface, provides a very easy and user-friendly and very intuitive way of managing the things. PowerShell and command line interfaces are more aligned towards scripting, command-based interfaces, where if you are a very seasoned and experienced administrator, you will find these environments very, very suitable for you, and also make your repeated tasks automatic by using some kind of scripting options. We are going to look at it parallelly, how you can create and manage resources using PowerShell and command line interfaces in our future forthcoming sessions. So all in all, what you are looking at on your screen right now are the various Azure management tools, portal, PowerShell, and command line interface. Let me minimize this, and then I'm going to take you to at least I would like to show you that how you can get into a portal kind of an environment, sorry, how you can get into PowerShell kind of an environment, and how you can make the PowerShell as your way of managing the various resources. To do that, it's a very simple thing. You can see right on top where my mouse is currently hovering, you have something which is cloud as a cloud shell. When you click on this cloud shell, you will observe that your current screen is now split into two panes, and at the bottom of your screen you will be able to see the area which is currently getting populated with the cloud environment, sorry, the shell environment. And of course there is a little bit of a prerequisite where before you actually start working with the PowerShell or Cloud Shell environment, you need to have a storage account automatically created for you. Don't worry about, in case if you're not familiar with what storage account is all about, it's a very simple mechanism which I'm going to show you in later classes when we are really going to work with how to create and manage storage accounts. But for the time being, just click on this storage account here and ask Azure to create the storage account for you. And Azure is going to very quickly launch an environment where a cross-platform command line interface would be available to you. Okay. So while this environment is getting populated, as you can see, this is already getting populated. If you see at the bottom of your screen, where you are already being informed about your subscription ID and what is the resource group under which this particular subscription ID is going to be there. And this currently you can see that this cloud shell environment has been successfully created, and you can also see the dollar prompt. Now this dollar prompt, those who are familiar with Unix environment or Linux environment, that this is the prompt where you can enter all your Linux commands or Unix commands. Okay, and you can perform a variety of management tasks here. For example, if I click a simple command like to show all the listing of the files, then you can see that the Linux command ls space -l, which means list all files for me, is going to show under my current directory what are the different files and directories which are present. Currently they are very limited and just one particular file or drive is present here with some link. You can see that. And if I want to see my present working directory in which currently I am there, by typing the command pwd, then you can see that it shows I am currently in /home and /Ravi, Ravi being my home directory, and that home directory with my own account name, will be part of this higher level directory called as home directory here. So overall, currently you are in a very much Linux based environment where you can type any kind of management commands, Linux based commands, scripting commands, and make your tasks really very automatic. At any point of time, you can see if I click on this, I can switch easily from Linux based environment to Windows PowerShell. So if I click on Windows PowerShell, because I want to work on Windows based command prompt rather than Linux based command prompt as per my preference, you will see that I get a message whether if you are really confirming the switch, and if you say okay, then you can see the command prompt is now going to change from Linux prompt to Windows based prompt here. Okay, so now you can see you are going to get a different kind of a screen here, and there you go. It is authenticating currently to Azure, my account. It is building my Azure drive, and then of course I have the usual Windows prompt with which we are so much familiar. This is your actually PowerShell, and this PowerShell is essentially an extension of your Windows PowerShell, where many many activities related with your cloud administration can be done by using commands which begin with AZ. For example, if I want to say either log in or log out, or if I want to create some kind of a resource group here, or create virtual machines, create virtual networks, I want to create some data disks, or websites even, or application services I want to create for my company. All these things can be performed on my command prompt itself by using certain type of commands with which I will make you familiarize as we go ahead, right? So most of all these commands,
Yeah,
they begin AZ. Yes,
Ravi,
Giri?
Sorry to interrupt. So
Yeah,
just I'm curious, like you just switched from shell to PowerShell, right?
yes.
Bash to so
Hmm.
what exactly is happening in the background? Like, is it I mean, switching the what is that like in OS or like how it is?
I'm sorry. What exactly is the question?
So you just switched from Bash to PowerShell, right?
Correct, correct, correct.
So that means you're shifting the drive, or it is just switching the environment, like command line interface.
No, no, no. It is basically shifting the environment. Okay.
Okay, that means like it is different drives.
Different drive. Yes, yes.
Okay,
So
so I mean, like if you give a dir, so there will not be any home slash Ravi, right?
no, no. You can suppose if I say dir command, for example, you can see. You follow?
Okay,
These are your like
okay,
DOS based commands that you are very familiar with, or you can create your own directories or something like that. So
okay.
you see,
And one
no,
more question.
yeah, go ahead, please.
So if you create a directory here, like something like any of the directory, new directory. So if you
Hmm.
switch the uh, mm, switch to I mean like shell bash, so you'll get it here, right? I mean you won't get it.
No, the environments will be quite different. If you see, if I switch over to my bash shell, right, I will be
Okay,
placed in an environment in my home directory, right? And my
okay,
environment is totally oriented towards Linux based environment, where the drive can be very much different from the drive where I'm currently there when I'm having a PowerShell environment.
okay. Basically, it's a different drive. Yeah.
Correct, correct.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead.
So now that we have some kind of a notion as to what PowerShell is and how we can use a cross-platform PowerShell for our own benefit, okay. Now, if you recall, if you see this particular PowerShell, we have actually created from within our portal environment, okay? Because first we went into the portal, then we switched over to the Cloud Shell, and then we selected either PowerShell or Bash. That's what we did. If I want to come out of it, I can just type exit, and you can see that the Cloud Shell has timed out. And if you say quit, then you are out of your shell environment and back into your portal. In some cases, it may be required that you have to log into your, or you want to launch your Cloud Shell totally independent of your portal environment. That also can be done. Suppose when you go to a new browser here, you can see I'm having a new browser right now. And in the new browser, I can just type shell.azure.com. Okay. And when I click on this, I repeat shell.azure.com. If I'm going to type that, then this is a browser based interface which is going to be provided to you. Same kind of an environment, but that is totally independent of your portal environment. So you can see now, currently the PowerShell is launching. Okay. Now this is opening totally in a different browser altogether. So you are quite independent of your portal environment, and where you can start create and working with your different resources. Okay, managing the resources and so on. So, and also of course you have a different type of icons that you can see, and these icons essentially are based on your, you can work around with your text size, whichever is comfortable for you, the fonts that kind of you require, and what is the size of the font that you want. And you can also open a totally different editor where you can edit files, and also you can restart your Cloud Shell at any point of time, and many such options are available to you through these icons. So I suggest that you take some time off whenever you are having a subscription ready with your account, and once you log in, then I suggest that you go into these things and do a bit of explorations. Currently I'm closing this by typing exit, and then I'm out of this back into my portal environment. So let me switch back to my portal environment now. So now that we are back into the portal, now I would like to start off with a topic where under this particular portal, in our last session I already made you familiar with the all type of services which are available on cloud, Azure cloud, and how these services are categorized as high level and subcategories, which I've already told you about. And you can also go back to your home, and this is a home page where you log in, and you can also go to this part where there is a plus symbol here, and that plus symbol is going to suggest that you can create a new resource. The resource may be anything, right, ranging from a virtual machine to app services to any other kind of a resource that you would like to work with. Now you can see the moment I click on a new resource, it is going to take me to what is known as the Azure Marketplace. Now this marketplace is basically a collection of various kind of services from different vendors. As you can see, some of these services are from Linux vendors, and some are from Microsoft itself. So basically, you can imagine a marketplace as a collaboration of different vendors which are pieced together like a marketplace that you see in your general life. So it's a collection of all these things from where you can actually start and creating and managing your resources. And for each of these things, you can see there is a quick tutorial available for you. So for example, if you want to learn more about web app, you can always go for a quick tutorial here and see how these things are actually happening and more familiarize yourself. So there is a lot of knowledge base which is open for you to explore and work with them. So all these things are possible through the marketplace when you click on create a resource here. And one of the things, interesting things with which as an administrator you would be very much concerned is creation and working with dashboards. So now, before we progress any further with creation of resources, actually, let us take an understanding of what a dashboard is and how it makes administration very simple, easy, and at a one-stop shop for all your resource management. Okay, let's click on this. So the moment I click on this dashboard, you can see that your screen is now changed to a plain, frame canvas, which shows nothing actually, because you have not created any particular objects inside your dashboard now. Now, what is a dashboard? First of all, let's ask ourselves what a dashboard is. A dashboard is essentially a collection of different resources which you want to manage under one single screen. For example, every time I create some resource groups, I want to place those resource group under the dashboard, pin them to the dashboard as we call it, pinning them each of these resources to the dashboard. And virtually any type of management task that I want to do, I can do this inside this particular dashboard itself. Now, to make you more understand what exactly I'm talking about, let's click on a new dashboard here. The moment I click on a new dashboard, there is a tiled environment that comes over here. If you see, there is a lot of tiles over here. This is a raw kind of an environment that you see. And on your left side, there are a variety of gallery objects that you see. You can see on top what is called as a tile gallery. And then there are metrics charts, which you can drag and drop, and where you can study the metrics. Metrics means measurements. For example, you may want to measure the health of a virtual machine. Like for example, what is the percentage of CPU consumption that is happening? What is the input output, disk read and disk writes speed with which this is happening related with a particular hard disk? In short, whatever the measurements that you want to monitor related to various resources, all those resources and monitoring can be done through this particular metric chart. You can also drag and drop your resource groups and virtually anything that you would like to basically do with your management. So again, to reiterate the point, what I'm trying to make here is, you can, whatever the resources that you are creating, all of them can be pinned to your dashboard, so that this becomes a kind of a one point of arrival for an administration perspective, where you can just open the dashboard and see currently which resources are positioned where, how they are performing, and how these resources are getting accessed, and what is the health of these resources. For example, a virtual machine, how it is running, whether it is underperforming or performing as per the expectations. Everything can be managed through these dashboards. So I will create a couple of examples for you just to see what exactly does this dashboard mean. And then you will, for example, I want to place a clock on my dashboard. Every time, I click on this particular clock, then it should be able to show me the time that is happening. And currently you can see that my dashboard is constantly going to show up with a Indian Standard Time. But suppose instead of Indian Standard Time, which I already know anyway, I want to see the clock time of some other country, right? And I just want to see how this coordinated universal time, for example, how it is happening in some other geographical area, what is the current time, and match with my own time and see what is happening and what's the time over there. I can just place a clock over here. Just an example I'm giving. You can do a lot of things, way lot of things actually with dashboards. So now you can see this will be running constantly. Okay. So I'll close this. Okay, I can just 1 second. I can just say done here. So yeah, you can see my clock is over here running now. So I can just say done customizing. And now if I open my dashboard again, you will be able to see that my clock is running. And I can also actually edit this dashboard and maybe call it as with a suitable name. For example, let's say my company is an e-commerce company, and it has some it tracks all the products that are being sold. So I want to create a sales dashboard basically. So I can call it as a sales DB, in which all the resources pertaining to my e-commerce, virtual machines, database servers, web app servers, everything I want to pin into these dashboards and see how basically it is working. Okay, now you can see I have named my dashboard here so that I will know which dashboard to look for. Done customizing, and we are back into my picture over here. And let me tell you one more example of working with dashboards that becomes interesting for you. Let's say I want to create a resource group. Okay, let's click on this resource groups here, and I will give you a proper definition of what resource groups are all about. So let me click on this one. Okay, so my window is going to open here, and I can see that there are certain resource groups which have already been created in the past. And just now when I created one, if you remember that when I opened my PowerShell, it has already created a storage account for me. And as part of the storage account, a resource group called Cloud Shell Storage Central India has been created. Okay, under this particular subscription. I don't require it now. So what I will do, I'll just select this one. If you don't want any resource group, you can just delete it. And I'll tell you what resource groups are all about. Just hold on for a minute, and I can just say delete this particular resource group, which I don't require it. It is going to ask for a confirmation to see whether I really want to, delete particular this resource group. And if you are really serious about deleting it, just select the resource group once again, copy it, and paste it over here. And you can see that Azure automatically gives a check mark saying that yes, you have typed the correct resource group name. This is being done deliberately by Azure because resource groups are something under which you club all your related resources. So like a folder, for example, if you create a folder, I'm sure the reason behind the creating a folder would be all the related files will be stored under it. Similarly, you can imagine a resource group as a container, as a kind of a box under which all related resources means resources which have some kind of a relationship with each other, all of them will be clubbed into one single resource group, and that becomes the point of management for the administrator. So therefore, whenever you are deleting a resource group, Azure wants to caution you, stating that, are you sure you want to delete a resource group? Because when you do, all the resources under the resource group would be deleted. So this is you have to take this step very, very cautiously. As of now, we don't have to worry about it because we don't have any resources under the resource group. So I'm very free to delete it. So I'm deleting it. It will take some time. You can see this is a notification bell, which I want to showcase it to you. See, a bell symbol. And if I click on that, there is a notification saying that currently the activity that is going on is deleting of the resource group. It is under progress. And even as the deletion of resource group is going on, it is automatically put into as a background activity, so that while this is going on, your other work is not interrupted. You are free to go and do some other administrative task while the deletion is going on. You don't have to worry about it. And it will automatically give a notification to you once the deletion is done. So let's close it. So remember this bell symbol, especially those who are for the first time visiting the portal, the bell symbol is a notification where any object creation or any resource creation, deployment, deletion that you're going to do, everything will be shown as a notification to you, its progress, whether it has succeeded or whether it has failed. All this information would be conveyed to you. So please keep an eye on this even as you're working with your Azure portal resources. Okay. So now that this part is going on in the background, let's not worry about it. And let's go to the resource groups now. And already we are there, as you can see. And let's add, you can see an add symbol here. Let's create a new resource group now for our own experiment. Now remember that now you can see now you can see the resource group has been deleted. Okay. It is a notification now, and the background activity has stopped. Meanwhile, our new resource group creation screen has come up where it is asking us certain details. Number one, and very important to remember, you can see the definition of a resource group, right? It is a container that holds related resource for an Azure solution. Let me give you an example here. Suppose you are working for a testing environment, right? In the testing environment, the company requires at least 10 virtual machines to be created. Each virtual machine should be hosted with some services. Hello. Yes, Giri?
Yeah, sorry, actually, you can go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry?
Accidentally, it was pressed. You can go ahead.
Okay,
Sorry
okay,
for
no issues, no
interruption.
issues. So, okay. So hope everybody, I'm just asking a feedback. Hope everybody is comfortable with the flow here. Any suggestions? Viveka or Giri?
Yeah, it's good for me. Yeah.
Okay. So just let me, okay, that's fine. So please do feel free to at any time to stop me if you feel any discomfort or anything like that. Okay. So I was giving you an example of when you would be creating a resource group. Suppose, let's say you are in a testing environment, testing in the sense you are testing some virtual machines, and these virtual machines need to be installed with some critical applications. That is the reason why you are creating a virtual machines in the first place. And secondly, all these 10 virtual machines should also be connecting to a backend database server from which these virtual machines will be accessing the data or storing the data into that particular database. Now, if you see here, the collection of all these 10 virtual machines plus your database server, all these become one related resources because they are being used for a specific Azure solution. Hence, it makes sense if you can place all of them under one single resource group. Now, if you shift with to another environment, like for example, a production environment, where instead of testing, you are actually having these resources made available to the or made available to your customers, or these applications are going to go live, then you may have to create another set of resource groups under which different related resources would be added, created, and managed. Okay. Now, anyway, if this point is not very clear, slowly we'll be reiterating this point again and again because resource groups is something which is very, very vital to our administration part of it. So now that we have somewhat a notion about what a resource group is, now it is asking this resource group should be created under which resource group. You can see the link up here, a subscription first, under that you have a resource group. So a single subscription can have multiple resource groups under it. This is known as one-to-many relationship. Okay, you have a single account. A single account can have multiple subscriptions. Each subscription can have multiple resource groups, and each resource groups can have multiple resources under them. This is the kind of hierarchy that you should remember. Okay. Now it is asking which is the subscription that you would like to go for creating this resource. Now, since I have only one subscription over here, that's the reason why there is only one I had to specify. If I have multiple subscriptions, then I need to specify this resource group will be linked with which subscription. And secondly, it is going to ask me enter the name of the subscription. Enter the name of the resource group, and I'm going to call it as sample resource group here. And once I did it, then it is going to ask me under which region do you want to create this particular resource group. Now, please understand, for everything there is an exclamation mark over here, and the information rather, not an exclamation mark, but an information. If you put your mouse pointer, you get a nice description about what exactly Azure is trying to convey. Here it's saying choose a Azure region that's right for you and your customers. So currently you can see the default selection is Central US, but if you click on this one, you get a very comprehensive list of different regions under which you want to place your resource group. Now, the selection of a particular region is basically based on where your customers are present, located geographically. Suppose, for example, all your customers are there in Central India or in South India, then preferably your resource groups and the resources which these customers would be accessing should be placed in South India itself, so that you have a very low latency bandwidth connectivity, network connectivity with your customers, so that your customers do not face any kind of delays or connecting to your resources and working with them. So there's no point in creating something in West US if your customers are all scattered in South India itself. Okay. So bear this in mind. This is as an example, but as of now, I'm going on with the central US. So that means somewhere in the data center in the central US, my resource group is going to be created now. So once I do that, it's only a matter of selecting tags if I want to have any tags associated with it. Basically, tags are essentially keywords with which all related items can be searched by customers. You are very familiar with the tags whenever you search for something on Amazon or something like that. But if you want to do that, you can go ahead and specify some tags. Otherwise, you are very much free to review and create a resource group now. So let me just click on this one. So you can see that the validation has passed, and here is a brief summary of what is about to happen. A resource group is going to be created under this subscription with this name in this geographical region. If you are good with this, you can just go and say create. Now again, if you see here, there is a notification. Keep a word on this one, keep an eye on this one. And if you can see, my notification says that your resource group is already created. Now there is two options I have now. Number one, I can directly go to the resource group to do some further activity. Two, I can pin this resource group to my dashboard. Now that is what I wanted to show you actually. Pin it to the dashboard. So this resource group, if I say, please pin it to the dashboard, now Azure is going to give a message saying that the resource group has been pinned to my dashboard now. Let's check whether that has really happened. So I go to the dashboard here, and now you can see earlier I had only one object in my dashboard, which is the clock showing them some UTC, universal time. And here you can see the resource group has actually been with the sample RG is also now added to it. So this looks rather large for my liking. So I just click on this and I just customize it a bit, where I can select the size of this particular tile, and it looks 2 into 2 should be just good enough. So now I can just place it wherever I wish. Now you can see my dashboard contains two objects, one clock, which is constantly going to run in the background to show me the time where my customers are there. And it is also going to show the resource group, which is currently created. And now if I'm done with customizing, click on this. Now my dashboard contains these two objects. Now the next interesting thing here is the management of resource group can start right from this part itself. That means if I want to create any resources under this particular resource group, I don't have to go anywhere else now. I just start from here, create resources. So now if I click on this one, you can see it is going to navigate to a different blade. Of course, not surprising, it takes me to the marketplace, right? And where I can see a display of a variety of resource or services in the form of app bots are available, machine learning workspaces are available, you name it, and all these are available here. And maybe I would like to create a Windows server now under my resource group. There may be a business requirement where my manager has asked to spin up a Windows server. So the moment I click on Windows server now, you can see I will be navigated to a different blade altogether, where it is a matter of just selection, where I can start creating a Windows server. And you can see pretty lot of information that is Azure is throwing at me to first go through this particular information. In case if you are not aware of it, Windows Server is the operating system that bridges on premises environment with Azure services, enabling kind of an hybrid scenario and maximizing existing investments and so on and so forth. Of course, my objective is not to immediately create a Windows server for you, but you can see that how easy it is for me to go to my dashboard, and from here how is it easy for me to go to the marketplace and start creating resources? For example, if I want to create a virtual machine now, I can just go to the virtual machine or a virtual network or whatever it is. I can click on this one, and as soon as this blade opens for me, and you can see I have an option of creating a virtual machine VM for some purpose I want to create it. And if I do that, now it is going to walk me through an elaborate process of virtual machine creation. And at the end of it, which I'm not going to go right now, which I will show you, of course, in the forthcoming sessions, how to create and manage a virtual machine. And once this entire process gets completed, similar to our resource group, I can just review and create at the end. Again, the notification bell is going to, chime in and going to show the progress bar. And once that is completed, it is going to say your virtual machine has now been created. Would you like to go to the resource, or would you like to pin it to the dashboard? You have understood it. The moment I click on pin it to the dashboard, now you will be able to see that. Let me close this. I don't want currently the creation of it. So if I go to the dashboard, it's not surprising that the resource, oops, something happened here. Okay, just let me reload this. Just give me a moment, please. So any question until now while this environment is getting brought back into the picture? Okay, I'm being asked to re-enter my password. Okay, just give me a second. I'll be good to go. Okay, so since I'm not getting any questions from the participants, let me go ahead and say that dashboards are one-stop way of managing your resources. Let me enter my password so that, yes. Okay, so here we are. So they are one-stop shop, as you can see, for management of various resources under one single roof. Okay, they are pretty useful. And okay, so let me close this one. I don't want this particular part. So if I go to my dashboard, you will be able to see the two objects that I have actually. So any questions until now?
No, I'm just new to this class as well, but it may be out of context. But like, how will be the cost of Azure? Just so curious. Is it? It may be early.
Actually, your voice is very feeble.
No, I just would like to know how will be the cost of Azure. Just to curious.
What do you mean by cost of Azure? Is it subscription you're
Like,
talking about?
yeah, subscription and the cost of resource like VM creation and like how it will
Okay.
be.
See, basically, the cost of the resources depends upon what type of resources actually you are utilizing. Okay. The cost of all the resources will not be uniform. There is a pricing calculator. Maybe in some other session, I will also show you. There is a pricing calculator which is available, Giri. You can also explore this option on cloud as well. Okay. On your Google as well. Azure
Okay.
Price Calculator. The pricing calculator is something which is going to give you a notion about each of the resources and what would be the approximate cost that would incur on utilization of these resources. Number one, you can come to know about it very easily. Number two, If you are interested to know what is the cost of the subscription itself, then it is only a matter of, let me go down here, go to my subscriptions, and you have asked a good question over here. And if you see, this is my current subscription that I'm using. Okay. If I want to add another subscription, you see there's an add option over here. If I click on this, Azure is going to navigate to a different browser altogether. If you see, and I'll make you familiar with different types of subscriptions and which one would be the suitable for you as of now. So you can see add subscription blade has come up, screen has come up here, and it is now populating. There you see. Giri, can you see the listing here?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, here if you see, there is something which is called as a free trial. A free trial subscription is something which you all of you should try right now, so that you are going to get from Azure, from Microsoft, a free credits of about $200, which amounts to, if my maths is right, about 1350 Indian rupees, 1350 or so Indian rupees it will be there. That means for a continuous period of 1 month, you can keep using these services, resources, and within the allotted free credits of 1350. And as you keep creating virtual machines or disks or virtual networks, and as you keep utilizing them, the amount which is going to cost, that is going to be deducted from these free credits in a progressive way, so that once you are completely exhausting the credits, you are going to get a very early warning message saying that you have only this much amount of free credits remaining now, after which your free credits will expire, or the period will expire, whichever is earliest. Have you understood, Giri?
Yes, yeah, that is clear.
Suppose if you have what, if you know 1 month has passed, you are nearing 1 month, but still 800 credits, 800 rupees worth of credits are still remaining. So you will see that your month will approach first and credits will remain still with you. But again, that will be of no use, because whichever is earliest will, that will be taken into consideration. So my suggestion is, since all of us are on a training period, it is better that you take a free trial. There is a mechanism in which you can follow. The moment you click on the free trial over here, and you can see the link on top, you can follow this particular link, right? account.azure.com/sign up. If you type this, you will be taken to this particular subscription offers, and whichever is most suitable for you, you can pick up that particular subscription. Of course, in this case, free trial is most advised. But once your free trial gets expired, you will have to automatically upgrade it to your pay as you go. Not, I mean, not automatically, but you will be suggested by Microsoft that your free trial is expiring. So we suggest that you upgrade yourself to pay as you go kind of a subscription. That is exactly what I'm using here. If you see, if I go to the subscription, you can see pay as you go here. So this is no longer a free one that I'm using right now. Okay. So let me go to the sign up. Pay as you go. This is very flexible and it has no upfront costs, and there is also no long-term commitment associated with it. You only pay for the resources that you use. But if you belong to some organization from some company, if you look at it, then there are higher types of subscriptions available to you. For example, there is a subscription which is called as developer support subscription. That is the name of the subscription itself. This subscription is most preferable under which condition? When you want to, this is subscription is most suitable for individuals or for companies which are actually working on a non-production environment, and they just want to evaluate some applications or something like that before they actually go live. So in such type of a non-production environment, it is advised that you go for a developer kind of a developer support subscription, where this also includes a technical support, a reactive technical support. reactive technical support means in case if you experience any technical difficulties or challenges, you can easily reach out on a specific email ID or a mobile or a phone call, and the technical help desk will reach out to you. And this is only available during the business hours. Okay. And a more elevated kind of a subscription is available when you go for a professional direct support. This is basically for companies, okay, which have a very business critical dependency on Azure. And here this includes a faster initial response for technical issues. There is a help desk available, but they are going to have a prioritized reach out to you. There is also a very efficient escalation management. In case if the team is not able to support immediately, then it will be taken to the next level. And there is also account management that goes with it. Similarly, you have a standard support and Azure in open. This is basically for the channel partners. Microsoft has provided this kind of a subscription option here. So all these subscriptions that you see here have different costs incurred or associated with them, and you have to choose which is the best subscription for your company. Hope this question has been answered, Giri.
Yes, Ravi. That's
Okay.
very informative.
Okay. All right. So Viveka, any questions you have in this regard? Okay. I think you are speaking, but we are not able to hear any voice from you. Because in future you may have to ask some questions, some doubts. So kindly ensure that you have a microphone which is working so that we can hear your voice actually. Okay. So no questions from my end. Thank you very much. Okay. As of now, nobody has any questions right now. So this is basically what I wanted to reiterate in this particular session. So in this particular session, basically we have looked at the mechanisms by means of which we manage our cloud resources. And to just summarize it, cloud resources can be managed through portal, through PowerShell, which I have shown. And a third option which is also possible is you can download a CLI package. That means you can type Azure CLI download at your browser. Please try it now whenever you have time in your hands. And there is a whole installation package which you need to download and install in your local machine. And upon the installation of that CLI package, you are going to get another environment available to you, which is also a command line interface available to you. And through this command line interface also a variety of administrative tasks can be performed using very powerful administrative commands. In my next session, I will show you how to download this CLI and how to install it, which is a very simple and straightforward 5 minutes process. And once done, you are good to go. So in a nutshell, Portal, PowerShell, and CLI are the basic management tools that you will be very much concerned with. And today we have also seen something additional about subscriptions, the cost analysis, and you can also see, I've also shown you that in this cost analysis of a subscription, how you can utilize the budgets, cost analysis, how you can utilize the forecast power of Azure, where Azure is going to forecast based on your past expenditure, what kind of a future cost that would be incurred, so that you are ready with the budgets, so that you're not caught in surprise saying that, oh my God, this is the amount that we need to spend now. You don't have to be surprised about it because there is a forecast available for you very easily. Okay. Plus, I have also we can also see that in the entire cost incurrence that has taken place, by the you can segregate this cost by the service name, by location, by resource group, and by in this different way how this cost has actually gone incurred here, right? And also I have shown you that There is also a budget recommendations for you. There is an advisor recommendations that you can leverage upon. And then again, we discussed about something about dashboards. And we said that dashboards are an excellent mechanisms of placing all your resources and managing from a one single point. And you can also see at one glance what exactly is happening in your business, right? Including the metrics, performances, monitoring, you name it, you can do all these tasks within this particular dashboards. Of course, it may be very difficult for you to place n number of resources on a single dashboard. So you can divide your dashboards into multiple logical types so that each dashboard can show a specific part of your business, how it is running. Okay. So that's all we have for you today. And in tomorrow's session, we will be taking up some more interesting features, administrative related issues, and we'll talk about them in tomorrow's session. Unless, of course, you have any other questions that you want me to address. Okay. So as I see, there is no questions coming from the participants. Shall we call it a day now?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Viveka. Thank you, Giri, for joining us. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you, Ravi.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Ravi, are you in this call now still?
I'm sorry.
Regarding this course, like this is the first day, so I'd just like to know about the like fee structure and like hello.